We're live. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Fatma. I'm the host of Talk to Connect, and it's always an honor to have you here joining us on these amazing conversations because we have amazing people who come and share their stories. They come and inspire us. They come and empower us. But the most important thing for this conversation is to allow you to find your own journey, to find your own story, and defining your story and starting your own journey to having a life that you want, to becoming the person that you want in life. And today I have Aliu. I've had Aliu like 3 times now being my co-host, and I want to introduce Aliu because as from now on, Aliu is going to be doing with me these talks. We are going to be working together. He's going to be my co-host, and I want to welcome him, and I want to thank him so much for joining me in this journey of inspiring and empowering people. So Aliu, I'll welcome you, and I'll let you welcome our guests.
Thank you very much, Fatima, for this amazing opportunity, and I'm, very happy and grateful to be here today. Yes, I believe, being part of a bigger call, it's everything. It means a lot to us. And then me joining these amazing platform because I see what you're doing. I've been watching you and I've been on your platform on several occasions. So I'm so honored to be here today and be part of this great movement. And today we have a great, guest on this platform today, Dr. Eseverere. She's an amazing sister. And I just want to thank you for, all the amazing things you're doing out there. I see you, sis, you're doing amazing. And I can see you from where you started and how you're growing because we started together. We been together on Less Brown Power Void. And I see you from where you started and where you are now. I just want to tell you that I'm really proud of you and keep moving, keep pushing. The sky is the limit, And today we want to welcome you here just to share your story with our audience here and then what you've been through. What make you to be that great woman you are today? You're welcome, Dr. Eseverere. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ali. And thank you, Fatima. I'm so glad to be here. I am honored to be with you guys on this great platform. I call it great for a reason, because when great minds come together, of course, the greatness cannot be underemphasized, right? It's it. So thank you so much for what you're doing. I feel like I am in 2 different continents right now, right? Fatima is in Dubai, you are in the UK. Oh my God, I'm in the US. Talk about transformation.
I moved. I'm in
Oh,
Estonia right now. I relocated.
To where? Where are you?
It's always necessary sometimes.
Where did you go to?
In Estonia. It's in Eastern Europe, very small European country.
Wow, look at that. That's what I mean when I say greatness. Wow. It's always good to relocate. I wish I was here. I'm about to relocate. I'm thinking about relocating. Don't let Nashville here. Okay, so I am, like you already said, I'm Dr. Eseverere. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, right here in the United States. If you know Nashville, or if you heard about Nashville, it's the music city where you have happy people. I guess so, right? Yes, I'm a mom of 2 amazing boys. I like to always start from there because that gives me so much joy. They are my drive. They are my teachers. They are like my observers, so I'm so proud of them. And I'm grateful for the grace to be able to raise them because I'm raising them alone right now, which is a very unique thing about my story. I am also into coaching and consulting. So I wear many hats depending on what part of the room you meet me. So my coaching and consulting, actually, I call myself the world best CEO lifestyle and business coach, right? So what I'm doing is basically helping corporate professional women, Black corporate professional women are those I want to concentrate on, and aspiring entrepreneurs to be able to go for their dream, to do what they are passionate about, to do that thing that lights them up, basically, right? To take their skill, their passion, their expertise, and make it a source of income, an additional source of income, especially if they have a 9-to-5, right? You want to have something on the side. We all know that the recession is here. I'm not saying it's coming. I mean, it's here. So you got to put on your tight belt. You have to tighten your belt. You never know what's going to happen, right? So this is why I've been preaching. That's how I got the 5 to 9 CEO concept. I'll be like, okay, yes, your employer pays you for your 9 to 5, but what you do between 5 and 9, you come back in the morning, will determine the future that you're going to get, right? So I turned myself the 5 to 9 CEO 2 years ago, and I started to push that brand. The brand has metamorphosed to different things at different times, right? Through the brand, I've been invited to speak in different part of the world, I would say, right? I have been sharing my message. It's all about doing that thing that lights you up. I just don't want people to settle in life. I feel like there's more. Why settle when you can have more, right? Why just eat a little when you can have reserve for your generation to come? So it's all about leaving a legacy. It's all about pushing yourself and not just staying in that box where life leaves you, because life will always be life. Life will play life, right? It's what you do with the things that are happening around you that determines, your next level, that determines your shine, that determines your brightness. So that's all I'm about, and that's what I'm pushing people to do. So let me stop there for now.
Absolutely, that's great.
So that's amazing. You're doing a lot of things and it's inspiring. And one thing that I love when I hear a woman, like, it's not being anything, but when I started my coaching, it was like, I need to empower another woman, an African woman, to just find her potential, to know that she's more powerful than the way she's seeing herself. And that's a drive, that when you wake up in the morning and know, like, I can help another woman find her way, it drives you to just want to do more things. So thank you for sharing that. So
you're welcome.
My first question, which is, I love asking people, I know when we talk about what we are doing, what we have achieved, it sounds good. But before that achievement, there was something that just drove you or gave you the motivation to say, I'm going to change my life. I'm not going to be the same person. I'm not going to be the same person who's going to sit and wish and settle. And there's a story behind that process of starting having this power and motivation to empower other people. So if we do share with us that story that changed you to become the powerful woman that you are right now.
Oh, thank you for that compliment. Yes, I'm trying as much as I can to stay powerful, because like I said, life will always be life. Say when life gives you lemon, you make it into lemonade. But I take it a step further. Instead of just making lemonade, how about you throw a party and call people and say, come on, let's have a party with the lemonade, right? So that's going the extra mile. So going to your question, yes, I wasn't like this. This whole transformation was a personal decision, and it's a very deliberate effort, which was where I started from, right? So I would say life put me in a box. I had a failed marriage. That was where it started. I would say that's where I started to feel. That's where, I had a smooth start. Growing up, I had all my teenage, I can say averagely, I wasn't really a troublesome teenager. So I feel like I had a good start. In quote, I wasn't a perfect child, but a good start. Everything was going well. I had a good job, and then somewhere in my 30s, after I got married, I started to have my kids. And then somehow life threw a ball at me, right? And so that kind of took me down. I was going down in a valley. My marriage failed, and it wasn't something that I was expecting. It was something that I was very married, and so that kind of threw me off. And so at that point, I felt like, okay, should I just stay in this situation? And because what I was getting was people coming and saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Why would this happen to you? It shouldn't be you. It should have been someone else, or something like that, right? You're just too good for, And even I was hearing those things and they were sweet, they were good and kind of made me feel good. But I knew that there was no path in. Yes, life may have knocked me down, but like as Brown says, if you stay down, but if you can get the courage to get up, you know what happens, right? And so I picked up my kids and we relocated to the United States. We didn't have anything. We decided to come here and start our life all over again. And so in the process, on the journey, or I would say was where my transformation happened, So in the process of fending for my kids, in the process of okay, what do I do with my life? How can I start afresh? And all that, I decided to take things positively, look at things positively instead of from the weaker side, right? Instead of from the negative place, instead of feeling bitter, pained. I was like, okay, so what do I do? What do I do with myself? How can I change this situation? Because I was moody, I was sad. I mean, my life was gone, you know? And then I started to work on myself gradually, and started to brighten up, because you can't do anything with the past. I tell people that you can't do, I'm sure I teach my children, you can't do anything with spilled milk, right? And even if you pick up spilled milk, it wouldn't be the same milk. You know, so what do you do at that point? You just ensure that the milk in the cup does not fall off anymore, right? So the spilled milk is gone, but there's still milk in the cup. So keep the cup. Exactly. So that's what I like to focus on. So sometimes life will happen to us. You know, anybody that is listening right now, life may have happened to you. Life may have kicked you in the butt. Things that you did not plan for may have happened. But I'm not saying that everything is going to be like, it's not really easy to tell people, stay positive, look on the positive side, especially when you are really, really in a down position, right? And I'm talking about my women here at this point, you know, but if you look closely, if you can just talk to yourself, to look closely, there's always that 10%, there's always that 1%, 2% that you can concentrate on. And if you concentrate on that 2%, it can change the remaining 100%, because that's what happened to me. Okay, so every time I'm in a situation, because it always happens, that's just one incident I'm just pointing out because of the question you asked me, but every time you are in a situation that is not pleasant, this is just a tip. Think of the one thing that is working amongst the 100 that is not working, and blow the one thing in your mind. Trust me, it changes all the other things. That was how my transformation happened. And because I am concentrating on that one thing, I begin to find opportunities around that one thing. And before you realize, the one thing becomes like the 100 things, right? It's just a simple trick. People ask me, how do I get so pumped up and so excited all the time? That's mine. I don't worry about the things that I cannot do. I concentrate on what I can do, right? I concentrate on the things that is working, and I build on that thing, right? Even before I came on this call, I was feeling bad because I've been waiting to, you know, publish something and it's not coming up, and it was frustrating me. And then I was like, okay, this is pulling me down, like it's pulling my energy, and I don't like to be in a negative space. And I went to my bed, I lay down for like 20 minutes. I got up and I said, you know what? I know it's not working, but at least there's a small portion that is working right now. So let me concentrate on that, because I'm about to go live. I need my energy. And trust me, I brightened up all of a sudden. So this principle I'm saying, or I'm sharing, it's something that works, and it's something that I apply day to day, you know, because like they say, energy flows where attention goes, you know. So we have to be really very mindful. So that's really like my background story of how my transformation started. And of course, I came to the US, met different obstacles, you know, but because I've had that analogy, or I've had that tip, I continue to use it and I continue to bring it into place. And that's how my journey started. And then before I knew what was happening, I was already in corporate America. I worked myself off there, and then before I knew what was happening, you know, I'm doing all these great things. And at some point I'm like, you know what, corporate is good, but you know what, I want to do my own thing. I want to be in a position where I will stand and empower more women, because I want them to see that even though you are down, you don't necessarily have to stay down. You can take that, like you said, lemon, right? We can make lemonade out of it. We can make something beautiful, can be in that broken vessel, right? Exactly. So that's what has led me here. I've been doing so many things because I've been challenging myself. You know, I'm somebody that is always challenging myself. Like I said, never settle. If you think that you've gotten something great, it's not because, you know, you've arrived. It's just, you're just breaking in. So stay there and never ever settle. That's just like my background story and how I was able to pick it back up.
Thank you very much, Eseverere. Thank you very much for sharing that beautiful story and where you started and where you are today. And I know someone else today will learn from it today that, you know, sometimes it's not when you're down, that down moment, that's where you can pick yourself, or where you say that there will still be something, that 1% or 2%, 3% energy, or something that is still left in you. That's so great, and it's really profound. Thank you very much. And I want to ask you a question because I listened to your interview a couple of times. I've been following you, and I heard you said a story when you were in Nigeria, and then your dad told you that, Eseverere, I want you to be a particular a subject that I want you to study. I think to be a nurse or a doctor, a medical doctor, and then you just went ahead and did it and graduated. But you find out that that wasn't your passion. You were not passionate about. You don't want to be doing operations. You don't want to be being in the hospital. That's not part of you. And then today, I realized that many people are going to university, studying subject college based on economic potentials, not based on personal fulfillment. So I want to ask you today, what can you share with someone, a young teenage girl out there, or a mother who is having a teenage girl who wants to influence their daughter, to study something that maybe they're not passionate about? What will you tell them today to learn from what your dad did to you and where you end up?
Yeah, so let me just correct that. My dad, what I think the story you're talking about would be where my dad wanted me to be a medical doctor, right? And they did everything to position me to be that medical doctor, but I was like, this is not for me. And what I did was I stood my ground. So I didn't do it. I didn't go that route, but I went a different route, right? So what I would say to a teenage girl, or what I would say to, let's start with the parents, like listen to your child, like, because, being a teenager, it's not even like this part of the world where we're in developed countries where the teenagers can actually tell us what they want, or they can challenge us, right? Just to be able to put their foot down because they feel like they're 18 and things like that. But in Nigeria, precisely where I came from, even if you're 25 years old, you can't talk back at your parents, so we don't really have the same, we're not playing on the same ground here. But the thing is, you want to, and I'm actually applying this to my children right now. Yes, of course, I want them to follow the entrepreneurial path, but at the same time, I'm not going to force it on them, right? I want them to be able to make up their mind and say, okay, this is what I want to do. Or I want them to actually go into the world and do whatever they have to do and then come back, So the thing is, you cannot be rude to your parents, right? If that's what you want, have a conversation, listen to your children, watch them, concentrate on the thing about doing what you love is concentrating on your strengths. Do the thing that you play, that comes natural to you. Sometimes the thing that comes natural to you may not be profitable, which is always the argument, right? Your passion, if you follow your passion, you'll be hungry and things like that. So once the child is able to make that decision for themselves, they'll be in a better place to decide if they can put in the effort, if their passion, in quotes, is not profitable, right? But I would say listen, stand your ground as much as you can, because it's a waste of time to go do something that you don't like. It's a waste of time for me. It's so unfulfilling. It's a place that you stay and then you're not happy. And I don't think anybody should be in that place where they are not happy. I don't think anybody should stay in a place where something is stealing your joy, because life is just too short. We should try as much as possible to enjoy every minute of it. So my advice to parents would be, listen to your child. I know you may want to, position the child for success, in quotes, but success to you may be different for success for me, right? And that's why I always ask the question, what does success mean to you? So if you can try as much as possible to talk to your child and have conversation with them, you might be able to know where their mind is going and see, if it's not something that the path you're trying to push them into, is it something that is going to fit them? Is it something that's going to fit their personality? Or is it just something that you want for yourself? Because sometimes some of these things that we're talking about is for us, for our ego, so that we can say, okay, I have this and I have that. But if the child is not going to, you can actually shine anywhere if you're in the right place. So listen to your child, pray about it as a parent so you can guide your child. Because the thing you want to know is, as a child, you are a caretaker. You're a caretaker. God has given them to us, or God gives us children so we can take care of them, guide them on the path they're supposed to go. Even God does not force us to do what we don't want to do. He says he gives us his free will, right? We have free will to make. He gives you good and bad, shows you everything. And then said you have free will to choose, and then he even says, whatever you choose, I will grant you your heart desire. And then he says, ask, you will receive, because he's not wanting to be that, even though I'm God, I can just, then it won't be a fair playing ground. Life wouldn't be enjoyable. So listen to your child and just be sure and pray that you are guiding that child towards success, in the real success, that it should be success for that child. And then for the child, just stay where your heart is. It will save you a lot of time, for real. Stay where your heart is. And I've done a lot of things I was not supposed to do. I've gone different paths. Okay, when I didn't do that, I decided to do something else that I didn't want to do, you know. But at every point in time, I tell people, the minute you wake up is your morning. Any side of the bed you wake up, that's your morning. My goal, my message is, if you don't like it, change it. So change it might be 20 years time for you. Change it might be 30 years time for you. Change it might be 5 years time for you. But always live with a sense of urgency and start working towards what you want as fast as possible.
Wow, so that's very powerful. Thank you. And I like the idea of you have to change. I think most of us are settling because of the fear of the unknown. You are not sure of what is going to happen if I change, and you stick in that comfort zone trying to make life work because you're scared of what if I fail, and taking risks. And going on that point of settling, because when I'm taking this in terms of where we are all coming from. We as a community, and especially as women, I'll say we are more taught of how to settle and surviving with the situation that is happening in life. And even when we go out of our, where we're saying we're going to look for green pastures, I'm going to go to America, I'm going to go wherever. For me, this is an experience. It's like settling for anything so that life can go. And when you settle, it's that, you know, the limitations that you have within you. I'm not good enough, and you know, maybe I will fail. I'm scared of failure. There's fear of that and fear of this. And a lot of people settle to things that they don't love, and they don't change their lives. So we can talk about it because somehow we've found a way to understand, how can I work with my belief? Because for me, when I ask people who have changed their life, to talk about belief is very important, because that's one was the weakest thing in my life, is just to believe in who I was and my capability of doing things. So how would you say you work through your limiting beliefs? What are the things that you would say helped you to break these limiting beliefs of feeling like I need to settle? Although from your story, you're very confident, or you're a person who had a mind that was set to get what you want, but a lot of people live in that fear and are held back with their limiting beliefs. So what would you say are the things that can help someone break these limitations of, I'm not good enough, or I can't do it because I'm a woman, or I'm a mother, or are all reasons that we have that are holding us back to stay in the comfort zone that we're in?
Yes, that's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking that, because that's actually my message, right? Don't settle. Like, yes, life would not always give you what you want, but it's up to you to say, life, this is not what I want. You know, a lot of people don't have that confidence. And the confidence is not something that I don't know, maybe people are born with confidence. I wasn't born with it. Right? It's something I've developed over time. So if you listen to my story, you will know that it wasn't always there. A lot of people that knew me before and see me now are seeing two different people, because I've worked on myself. Okay. And how did I get here? I worked on myself. First of all, I had to get conscious that I wanted to change. Okay. So some people are living in that bubble and they don't think anything is wrong. They feel like where I am is okay. I mean, what is wrong with where I am, right? What is wrong with what I'm doing? This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm a woman. This is how my path is supposed to go. This is how it's structured. This is how my family does it. So if you don't recognize that there's a problem, then you might not even be able to solve that problem. So first of all, you want to identify that, okay, I'm not in the right position right now, or I'm not thinking the way I'm supposed to be thinking. Okay, so when you know that, the next thing is, okay, you want to change, right? And then you begin to work on it. Limiting belief is not something that goes away automatically. And I don't think anybody has it right, because like you said, limiting belief is fear, right? It's fear of the unknown. It's just called different names at different times. It's it's wrapped under fear, right? Every time you go, every time you advance in life, you always have that limiting belief, because limiting belief will say you are not good enough. As you push yourself to the next step, limiting belief will say you can't go to the next one. You know, it's not people like you that are there. And then as you push yourself, limiting belief always comes. It just at different stages is different names and it's different things that we're dealing with. So, but the good thing is if you begin to work on it early, like I said, it starts with that first mindset of, okay, I'm more than this. If you don't feel like you are more, if you don't feel it, you're not going to be able to move away from it, right? You're going to feel like you are settling. So I would say being in the right community, being around the positive minded people is something that plays a major role in your limiting belief, you know, because that has helped me over time. We say only quality people. We say it so much because maybe it's a Les Brown cliche thing, but the truth is it's very important that we're careful to be around the right people, right? Because when you see people that are succeeding, when you're connected, you are following people. Who do you follow? Who are you watching? It's very important. And this starts from even as children. You know, if you leave your kids to just be watching, playing games and just be in that bubble, and they are not seeing other kids or other parents or other, you know, community that is inspiring, you're not exposing them to other things, you can easily settle, right? So who are you watching? Who are those that you are following? Who are you spending time with? Who are you listening? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Those things help with your limiting belief, because as you get yourself exposed to all these resources, to places, to people that are doing great or better than you, you would begin to feel like, okay, if that person, at some point, you feel that you aspire to be like other people. You understand what I mean? But if you are not in a community where you can challenge yourself, you can easily settle. And I always say, if you're in a community where you are the best person, then you know it's time for you to move to a different environment. I don't know. But some people are happy just being in that bubble, like, okay, I'm the best here. My house is the best on the street, you know, that kind of a thing. But I feel like you should always be challenging yourself, because that's where the joy is. When you challenge yourself to do something more than what you were doing yesterday, and then it just makes you feel like you're achieving something. You're achieving goals. And at the end of the day, what happens is you're climbing, right? So your environment really matters, the people that you are working with, I would say. And then another thing that has helped me is coaching. Coaching really, really helped me. Aliu said it, we started together. Immediately we plugged ourselves into a mindset program. My dear, I'm going to tell you that mindset program that I joined, it made me see things from a different level. Yes, I knew they were limiting. In short, I did not know they were called limiting belief. The things that I had that I was struggling with, I didn't know they were called limiting belief until I got into the personal development space. And then I realized, especially for, I'm sorry to say, but we Africans, some of the things that we're dealing with, I feel like we've been living with it. Our forefathers lived with limiting beliefs. So it's so hard to break out of the real limiting beliefs. It takes some level of consciousness to break out of the limiting beliefs, because we grow up with these things. I'll go ask my parents for money. My father said, but this money grow on trees. And that's some of the limiting beliefs that they're saying right now. But now we are taught to say that, you know what, I'm attracted to money. Money comes from trees. I am money. Anything I say, I touch. It's so hard for me to change that mindset, the old mindset, to this new mindset. But my thinking into result program really helped me. The Bob Proctor program really helped me to see things from a different bubble, to push for more, to push myself. So there was a bigger transformation when I did that. So, but I couldn't have had that access if I didn't go into coaching, right? I know our people don't like to hear coaching because they feel like they're giving somebody money, but my dear, you want to go fast, go through coaching. I mean, coaching will take you through 4 years of university, 6 years of university, and you can just achieve it in 3 months, 6 months if you're serious. It's a faster route to get to where you're going, especially if you're connected with the right coaches, mentors, and things like that. So that's one way. Look for people that are doing what you want to do and connect yourself with them. So women, that's one way to fight it that I can think about. You need to work on yourself. It's a lot of work, and it's never finished. Like I said, you will do it and then you meet another challenge and you need to apply it. But if you start it and you're in that personal development space, it's easy for you to maneuver. So personal development is something that is highly recommended to be able to overcome limiting belief.
Thank you so much. That's really powerful. And I think it's that when we talk about, and most of the time when I talk to people, I say we always look at our physical changes. How do I look outside and how do people look at me? But none of us sits down and say, how do I function mentally? How do I function inwards? Because when you connect these two worlds, then you start projecting the things that you want in life. So as you said, we are programmed to see the outer world. And I think that's when coming from home, we're just projecting to see how are things going to come to us without us going back and really thinking of who am I? And what am I thinking? What thoughts do I have towards my life? You know, it's funny when we talk about this, and sometimes when you tell people like, I really learned how to set goals, proper goals, when I started meeting certain communities, because it was not an important thing. It was just making, you know, oh, this year I want to do this, and that was it. And having a vision was something that it's not a joke when somebody say, how do you make your vision for the next 5 years? I was like, I can't vision my 6 months. You know, you're expecting me to vision my 5 years, but these are all things that we've been, you know, you're supposed to have an imagination of anything. And when you allow to have that, it allows you to change your life. So, okay, Aliu, you were going to say something?
No, it's okay. Go ahead. I'm listening.
No, I'm done.
Amazing. That was really amazing contribution, Eseverere and then Fatima. And I also believe that, you know, life is a fight for territory. And once you give up of what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over, like our mentor said, Les Brown. And I believe we have to continue working on ourselves every single day, both day and night. I remember the first time when I realized that turning point in my life. You know, I came to the UK, I was working in Gambia in the corporate world. I was in a sales and I worked in insurance company, printing company, and also in a car company, you know, doing amazing. But at some point, I just wanted change. I wanted to travel. I wanted to meet other people. I wanted to do something different. I want to see different environment. But the fear, you know, of a lot of people going after what you really want, what you want to do, your dreams, it's there. How am I going to be? Who am I going to see there? I don't know these people. I've never been there. But I just did it. And I came to the UK continuously working. But I always feel that increase in me. There is something in me that, look, I don't want to just come here, work so hard, pay bills and die. I don't want that for myself. I want something bigger for myself. I always have this vision in my head. And one day when I, you know, stepped down, you know, from my bed and I just said to myself, who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? And this is where I started, you know, asking myself. And then answers started coming to me, because when you ask yourself these questions, then you will start to work on yourself, because people hear about self-development, but they don't understand, especially where we're from.
Yes.
What is about that? I didn't even know about self-development when I was in Africa. I never know about motivational speaking. I never know about coaching. But these things are particularly working on yourself to understand yourself, who you really are in the inside, as Fatima was saying, because we always been programmed how people are going to see us, how people are going to think about you, not what you think about yourself, and how you dress and how you're styling your hair, what type of colors you're wearing. You know, these are things that are putting you up, but you should ask yourself, what am I telling myself in the inside? What am I telling myself in the inside? These are very important. And a lot of us don't face this reality. This is our self-image in the inside, because as human beings, we have two images, the one we portray to the world and the one in the inside. And the one is inside is the real job. Because sometimes you think that you're not good enough, or you blaming things on your circumstances or where you are. And then we always been programmed since school just to use our 5 common senses. 5 common senses: the sense of seeing, touching, and feeling. but there are higher mental faculties that we don't tap into. We only use our 10% of our conscious mind, but the 90% is in the subconscious mind. This is where the programming, that's why we are where we are. Wherever you see a successful person, because of their breakthrough, that, subconscious mind, that programming, they have reprogrammed themselves to be the person they want to be, because they've tapped into that higher mental faculties, which really help them. Connect around the world and have a group call of maybe 100 people or 200 people in one. If that person don't, like, they're like, come on, man, you're a big joker, you cannot do that. But because of when you believe in the higher self, that's something that was given to you, that you imagine you can do it, because your journey was only meant for you. Whatever you dream, your goals is meant for you. If you tell it to some other people, they will just kill it right there. And this is what happened in Africa, or many part of the world we live in. You tell your dreams to small people, they will just discourage you. So you have to be very careful of what you listen to, as Eseverere said. Kids, young people, teenagers, what are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What are you doing on your daily basis? Trying to monitor your thoughts. What are you thinking? What are you thinking on a daily basis? Even I have this exercise that I studied from a book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. That you should come at the end of the day, monitor what you have done good, what something you have done good, what were your thoughts you were thinking. You write them down to monitor your thoughts at the end of the day. If you thinking, have this thinking pattern of certain way, you can change that. You're thinking this way today, and then you did thinking this way. You have to monitor your thoughts, and this really helps you on who you really want to be. And that can get you to a place where you can get to understand yourself more and try to spend more time with yourself, meditate, and just imagine yourself wherever you want to be, that you can do it, and never, look down on yourself, because sometimes, society have put so much things on us that we cannot do this, we cannot do that. But at the end of the day, we're the most powerful human beings on earth, and we can do anything possible. But I want to say to someone out there, don't think small of yourself, always think big, that you can make it wherever you are today. Maybe that's just temporal. Eseverere was in where she is today because she started working on herself. Fatima as well, and me as well. The reason why we are today is because of where we see ourselves in the future. That we are a person of value. We can share something with other people for them to learn from, for them to benefit, and they can be a better person in their life.
Wow. Thank you.
That is amazing. Thank you. And this is the power of these talks, because we always try to help people see there is more to you than what you think right now. And when we have people sharing these insights, I believe it's not saying yes or saying no. Just get the insight and let it help you to just change something. If it's not going to help you doing a lot of things, but if it's going to help you to just focus on one thing, like Eseverere said, then just choose that one thing that they said today to help you achieve something. So when we talk about personal development, and I know it's a journey and it's a process, and change is a process, and when as we talk, because we've been in that platform of going through it, I normally want to let people hear from us that process that really allowed you to go to that journey. So for example, we talked about beliefs. So we have things like values. And when we talk about our values, just understanding what are your values, what defines you, what are the things that define the way you think, the way you connect with people, the way you make decisions. And I would say the first time I learned about my values was when I went through personal development, and they were talking, what are your values? And I'm like, we have values that really allow us to think differently, because I'm just thinking the way I'm thinking and this is the way I am. So how would you explain this to someone who doesn't understand how much understanding their values allows them in the way they react or how they deal with things in normal circumstances? Because when I started understanding my values, I ended up understanding, oh, there's some things that this kind of values that what affected my relationship when I was married, and some of these things that I didn't understand actually caused all the reasons that were happening in my life causing to go for my divorce, because this is the kind of person I am, and I didn't know how to deal with the other person because I didn't understand my own values as a human being.
Yeah, so I'll say that, like you too, I never knew what values were growing up. In short, I never knew what values were until just quite recently, a couple of years ago, right? When I got on this journey and I started to work on myself. So, and you're very correct. Your value drives everything. It drives the way you show up in life. It drives the way you show up in everything, in your relationship, in your business. It drives the way you spend your money, because that's like your belief. That's when I say, what does success mean to you? Indirectly, I mean, what are your values? Because for me, for instance, let's give a typical example here, just for people that are probably listening or watching that are wondering, okay, how can, I like to be as practical as possible so that I'll give you a simple example and then you can relate it to other things. So if, for instance, one of my value is fun, right? So which means that maybe I'm in my place of work. I walk in, maybe I just got a new job and I walk into the office and everybody's just so serious, like, from this manager to everybody, is a serious, there are some environments like that, maybe because of the nature of the job, the personality of the people, right? Everybody's serious. And it can even be a small business, but they're just serious people. I'm not going to find fulfillment there as a person, because one of my values is what? Fun. I like fun. I want to have fun. I want, so that's not my idea of, like, to me, when I walk in there, I'm like, oh my God, these people are just too serious. If I don't know what value is, I'm going to be like, okay, there's something about the people, I don't like it. But because I'm conscious of my value now, I know that, okay, this is how I am wired. This is what I pay attention to. This is what piques my interest. So I'm giving you this I'm saying this as an example for those that are listening to us, right? So like I said, fun is something that, I want, and then I get there. So before now, like you said, you were married and you did not know that those things were actually like the things that underlying things that you were looking for. So you see how your value can drive the decisions that we make in our life, our business, our career, you understand what I mean? And it drives everything, I would say. It's the same thing. So if somebody else that one of his value is not fun, maybe it's something else, and they walk into an environment like that, they love it, because they feel like, okay, if they walk into an environment where people are just laughing or cracking jokes, they're not serious, right? That's that person's personality, that's that person's value. And that's why we're different. So if we even understand things from a place of value, we'll be able to appreciate and accommodate people some more, because it drives a lot of reason why you see somebody calm. It's not like, it's just people digest things differently. So when I also realize, like for me, sometimes too, you don't realize that your value is different from another person's value. And then that's what makes you sometimes want to go be another person. You can't be somebody else, because, that person is wired differently. It's also connected to our personality types, right? So these and many more are things that you learn in personal development. And if you're not open to it, it's not something that, like, if I'm learning about value and I'm, for instance, in a relationship with somebody that don't understand, do you see that there's going to be a mix? There's going to be a hiccup, because we're going to be knocking heads. He doesn't understand. And then when I'm trying to explain that, it's because the things that you concentrate on, the things that matter to you does not matter to me. If I get married to somebody like that, for instance, there's going to be a problem, right? So it's not like our values have to correspond, but you want to align with somebody that is aligned with your value to a certain extent. You understand what I mean? So I think your question was, how do we explain that to people? Or just remind me, just so I'm sure I'm hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, exactly. And you've done it so well. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You've done it so well. I think of why I asked this because when I realized for myself, like, oh, my values are what defines, I realized we are defined by what society expects us to be. So personally, I was, because we've been raised to believe that your family comes first no matter what happens. And I'm not disputing that. But then as my value, I love freedom. I love doing things. So that is my first priority. I love freedom of being me and doing things. But it doesn't mean that I don't love my family. It's still in my values, but it's not my first priority. And when you start doing things the way you want to do them, the way you feel, it kind of, you start feeling guilty, because we've been raised to be in a community, and that standard of everybody should work with everybody. So you keep on changing yourself. You want to do something, you want to be free, you want to be creative, you want to do this, but because you've been put in that position, you cannot do it. Your family comes first. You cannot even invest in yourself, because if you do, then you are forgetting about your family. So you come second to everything, because that society expectation is just holding you to where you are. But the moment you start understanding your values, okay, if I invest in myself because this is what I want to do, and I like freedom to learn things and being creative, then this is the only way I can help people and I can support them. So you have a right to stand on what you believe and do what you want. So I asked this question because I know a lot of people don't even understand why they're colliding with people, because you want to do something else, because this is, like Leo said, he likes traveling. His adventure is something that he loves. So imagine you have people who don't even understand your values of using adventure, because this is where you want, who you are as a person, and it drives you to be that person. But you're holding yourself back because people expect you to be this certain person. So your life becomes miserable. You don't do what you love, but you please people. And in the end, we start serving people from an empty cup. And I think a lot of women serve from that place of empty cup because we are conditioned in certain ways. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, let me also add this to, maybe this will also help, So if, for instance, your value, first of all, can change at every point in time. Yes. So it's not set in stone. So everybody have different values because the value I had as a teenager, my focus was different when I became a senior adult or whatever. And then now this stage in my life, my value is different, right? So it just depends. And your value, because it can change, we need to also be understandable when we see, when you're trying to make some decisions, right? Your value will determine what you want to do at a particular point in time, like you said, Fatima. So that's really very right. So if, for instance, my value changes, maybe my number one value is my family, and I have my number one value is my family, and then I have other things. Maybe I have other things on the bottom of maybe I have three values, but my number one peak at this particular point in my time, particular point in my life is my family, and I'm faced with a decision. Trust me, I'm gonna choose my family first, right? And let the other. Maybe let me use a typical example. Maybe I have a speaking engagement. As much as I'm very driven and I want to go speak, but I want to ask myself, where does this leave my family? Mm-hmm. If it's not, if I have to go to my son's football game and then I have a speaking engagement that's going to clash with it, putting my values first, I'm going to pick my son's football game, right? That doesn't mean that I wouldn't love to go speak, or I wouldn't love to travel to that country. But at that particular point in time, my value in life is to put my family first. So I'm also using that example so people can understand, especially when you said as women, right? Especially when we start having children, at some point, maybe before you even had kids, family was not a priority, but at some point, family has to be, and you need to also cut yourself some slack, because that's why I said your value has to be flexible, because at some point, the things might change in your life, and then you now prioritize something else. But at the end of the day, you want to ensure that you have your value in check. That gives you a sense of fulfillment, that I'm doing something right, and it feels like it encourages you, and you get excited about life.
Thank you very much, Eseverere, for that insightful explanation about how you can be more valuable and how you can identify your values in this life, which is very, very important. I also want to ask you a question. I believe many people are lost. For me, I have find my, I know my sense of direction, to be honest. But a lot of people, it's hard for them to just pick up themselves and then find that path, find what they're really passionate about, you know, and something that where they can start from about when it comes to self-development. What can you tell someone who is confused and they don't know where they would start from? Where can they pick up from and where they can start when it comes to self-development?
Yeah, so my advice would be starts from self-consciousness, like you mentioned, right? And I think you already gave the answer when you were answering when you were talking earlier. It's so hard. I mean, it's bad. It's pathetic to be going to the north and you are facing the south.
Yes.
It's pathetic. And that's why they say a lot of people go to the grave without fulfilling their purpose. I feel you're in a better position if you come to the awareness and say, oh my God, I'm supposed to be going to the north, but I'm facing the south. At that point, what do? You reroute. You may be far from the north, but you start going towards the north. The bad part is when you don't even know that you're supposed to be going to the north and you're going to the south. And I say that to say, those 3 questions you asked, who am I? Why am I here? Those questions are really very important. And I think that we just don't even ask them. I suggest we don't just ask ourselves at the point where we feel we're lost and then, we navigate back. I feel like we should always ask ourselves those questions every time as much as possible, because we can easily get distracted because it's called life. Who are you? Why are you here? Are you serving your purpose? Are you doing what you're called to do? Because trust me, if you're doing what you're called to do, you will not struggle. Mm-hmm. You won't struggle. And when I mean that struggle, I mean in quotes, you will still live life. Life has its trials and temptation, but you won't struggle in terms of actualizing your dream, in terms of walking in your God-given purpose. You have to always ask yourself, because you want to ensure that you did not jump on the wrong bus. Just because everyone is standing in the bus station together and they are chatting does not mean that they are all going to the same destination. So if you are lost, come down in the next bus stop or from the next train stop and get on the right train. But how are you going to know that you are lost if you don't ask yourself, am I doing what I'm called to do? Mm-hmm. Am I living in my purpose? Am I going in the right direction? Or am I doing what people want me to do? Am I doing what my family thinks I should do? Mm-hmm. Is it what you want to do? It's a very bad place to be. And that's why I decided to concentrate on this area. It's not a good place to be. It's a miserable place to live when you're in the wrong place, when you're in the wrong association. And I feel like a lot of the major problems that we have in terms of mental health, too, it can help to reduce mental health to a certain extent. Because when you're in the wrong place, it leads to wrong decision. Everything will just be wrong. And guess what? It tells on your physique, it tells on your appearance, it tells on the way you show up, it tells on the way you show up at work, the way you show up in your business, the way you show up in your family, because you're just doing wrong. But it's never too late. Like I said, the minute you wake up is your morning. Start from there. It doesn't matter. We're on 3 different parts of the world right now. When I wake up is my morning. It can be 10 o'clock for somebody else. It can be 12 or 2. It doesn't matter. My own morning is my 6 a.m. or my 5 a.m. I open my eye. Start from there and start to change and tell yourself, I want to change. That's why you need to connect to a platform like this, where you hear positive things. A lot of people say positivity, motivation does not. Guy, you need it. I know it will not keep you, but you need it. You want to try negative, 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 you will land in a negative place. So yes, a little bit of hearing it and hearing it and hearing it and positioning yourself where you continue to hear it will take you to the right direction if you're lost.
That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. One of the mentors that I worked with, he said, whatever happens in our life is whatever experience we go through in our life, it's valid. Whether you don't have money to go to a personal development, a coach to help you to start your journey, or whether you're coming from a very poor village, or whatever circumstance you're in, it's very valid. But to those valid reasons, you have to look at them and ask yourself, how are they helping me to become a better person? Because you've been living with these reasons for a long time. So you've got to come out of that emotion and start trying to change. And change, as she said, is you don't have to really have a mentor who you're going to pay, but there's so many things that can help you just change your mind, make you think differently. I think I'm one person who I won't say I attended I attended a seminar the first time that it inspired me, but what inspired me was reading books. And the book that inspired me the most was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Only the first chapter allowed me to start thinking, what is my legacy in this life? How do I want to be remembered as me? Because at that time, you're feeling like, oh, I am really failing and I am not worth a lot of things. But just thinking of that, what's my legacy? How do I want to be remembered? I want to be remembered as a worthless person, or do I want to be remembered as somebody who had potential and actually could impact herself and impact other people? So when you're thinking, because sometimes when people are talking and when we talk about, oh, you be motivated, but then motivation dies, the question is, why are you looking for that motivation? The motivation will die, but the one thing that you learn from that motivation is the reason why we are having talks like this. So if you're confused, as she said, go to the next bus and start finding where you want to go. The question that you asked, who am I and what do I want in life, is a very big question. And there's so many things that can actually motivate you. It doesn't have to be a coach, and it doesn't have, personal development is a broad platform. There is a book, there is YouTube, there is talks. There's so many things now that can help you find your own way to become the person that you want. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the next, now I'm gonna ask, because as we do things and as we change, there's something that drives us. There's that drive that you have that makes you wake out of the bed and find the money and find the life and find everything. So what is your drive? What's the one thing that just drives you to say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to empower another woman to help her go to the next level?
Okay, so number one, or let me say number two, then I'll go to number one. Number two is that I am self-driven, right? Like, I don't care if, like, I can beat the drum by myself. I can play the piano, but like, I will do everything. I may not play it well, but that's me. That's how I've built myself. That's how working with myself over the years, I realized that I'm that person. I didn't know I was all this. All this is part of self-discovery, right? And I said, okay, you know what? I don't care if everything is falling. I will motivate. I don't even need to listen to motivational message. I motivate myself, you know, and I joke about it a lot. I don't mind if I don't care what other people are thinking. I think my own thinking by myself, you know, so that's one. But why am I self-driven? It goes back to my value. My number one is my faith, right? My number one value is my faith. So it drives my decision. It drives everything that I do, right? And for me, my faith is my relationship with my maker. And what did he tell me? You know how you have a father and your father you realize, okay, this man is my father. And then the father has given you promises. I say the number one problem we actually have in life is not all these things that are, is ignorance. Number one problem the cause of poverty, the cause of low mindset, the cause of limiting belief is ignorance. Think about it this way. If you're living in a mansion, but when you were placed in a mansion, or when you were growing up in that mansion, they did not tell you that your father is the owner of the mansion. You grew up maybe with your mother raising you in one of the rooms in the mansion. And every day your mom keeps telling you, don't make a lot of noise, because the owner of this house, if he knows, he's going to kick us out. So we are only allowed to go out and get our food and come back into the room and take a shower inside this room. But you are living in a mansion. What are you going to do? You're going to tiptoe around the house. You might not even go into some rooms in the mansion. Why? Because your mom told you, these are our boundaries. Don't go more than this place. Even when you get to the kitchen, you won't make so much noise because you don't want to be driven out of the mansion. The day you find out that your father owns the mansion, your step in the house will change. Am I correct?
Yes.
That is ignorance. You did not know that your father owned the house. So you were, conditioning yourself in the one room. And it still goes back to driving yourself and going for board, But the day I know that is my father's house, I will go into all the rooms. I will go to the backyard. I will stand on top of the roof. And if I'm this Eseverere, I will take pictures. I will show the world, this is my father's house. That's the mindset that I have, right? My number one drive is the fact that I know that the person that made me has told me that he will give me as much as I can see, think, dream. So I'm dreaming. Every day I wake up, I'm dreaming. I finish, I am dreaming the next one. Do you understand? So that's that's why I said number one and number two. So I'm self-driven because I am connected to something. I'm connected to my faith, and I believe strongly in my faith, and I'm walking according to what my faith told me. And I'm achieving the result because that is the promise. So that's why I said, find out what you're supposed to be doing, find out your purpose, find out what tickles you, find out what your passion, and just live there. You will not be struggling so much because you are living in abundance, in quotes, right? You are living in your environment. You are doing what you are supposed to be doing. So that's how I get my drive.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Fatima, you want to say something?
I just want to thank you, Immaculate, for sharing. She said, every moment in our lives is an assignment from God. We need to walk with purpose, not just cluelessly. We have to learn from events and grow by them. And she also says, success hardly ever follows a defeated mindset. You have to visualize things from before you can actualize them. Thank you so much for sharing that, Immaculate. Okay, you.
Thank you, Immaculate.
And thank you very much, Eseverere, for having you today. It's been a wonderful pleasure. And I know we don't want to overgo the time, and maybe you have other things to do, but we just want to find out if someone needs your help, your coaching, or whatever you're doing, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so the best way to reach out to me, my best platform is Facebook. Right? I'll reach out to me on Facebook. I'll say follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. Just type the name Dr. Eseverere or Eseverere 529 CEO, and you'll be able to locate me. Message me. I'll say DM me. I am always very available. Follow me on Facebook because that's where I share a lot of my content. I have things that I'm developing right now that are going to help people that want to start somewhere. Like I said, the important thing is for you to start. The minute you realize, okay, you know what, I need to change. If you're listening to this right now, you feel like, yes, I need to start doing something about this, my condition or my situation or my life, right? The key word is start, right? Don't stay there. Don't let anybody make you feel like you're in a box. So follow me because that's why I share. Like I said, follow me, and I will share. I share a lot, as much as I can, right? And yes, so you'll be getting updates from there, basically. So that's the best way to reach me. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. My page is actually Eseverere, ESE. Okay, Dr. Eseverere, so Dr. Eseverere. Search it and just follow me on those pages, and you'll be able to get more information. And let me know how I can help you, right? I said I run a coaching business where I'm helping, especially Black corporate professionals, and that are working a 9 to 5 to build a side income, build a side hustle. I think Aliu mentioned something about coming to this part of the world and settling for any job just because we feel like you don't. This is what our people are capable of doing. You don't want to go out there and challenge the status quo. I'm challenging you. So my goal is to give you as much of what you need to be able to start your own thing so that you can be the CEO of your life, right? So my mantra is do what lights you up so that you can be the CEO of your life, so that you can be your own boss, so that you can lead. And then when I say life, I actually mean leading in everything, leading in life, leading in business, leading in relationships. So life knocked you down. Who says you can't get up and do something for yourself that makes you feel good so that you can shine in all areas of your life, right? So I'm always happy to do that. So connect with me anyway. I can help you. And also, like Fatima was saying, everything don't have to be, there are a lot of free resources out there. All you have to do is to get resourceful, right? There are a lot of free resources out there. I didn't start by paying a coach. I started by consuming the free resources, and then I grew to the point where I could pay a coach. And then as I paid, you will know when it's time for you to take the next. The important thing is start doing what will move you to where you want to be in life, because that's what is going to just make you feel like you're achieving something. So there are a lot of free resources out there. If you want me to point you to some of them, let me know, contact me, and I'll be very, very happy to reach out to you. And watch my space, because I have an announcement that's going to be coming out today, maybe by the end of the day, before the end of the day. So that's why I said follow me, because goodies are going to be dropping on my wall, and that would direct you to websites and things like that. So
thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. There's so much that we've learned from you. I believe there's so much more we can learn from you, and this platform is Create Awareness. So we hope we'll have you for more talks and more empowerment. Aliu, thank you so much for the insights and being here today. I want to thank you, Immaculate, and for Samha for joining us today, and anyone who's watching us and will watch us later. I just want to say that this platform is Create Awareness. Whatever we are saying here is just to allow you to just go back and see what are you doing in your life right now? What can you do to change your life right now? And if we are allowing you to just think and to start doing something in your life so that is productive, that's why we are here, and we will always be here to support you. Aliu is here. As also, you can find him on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. We're all on Facebook. And if you feel like you need to be supported in any way, just send a message and we will all be happy to support you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Aliu. Thank you, Eseverere. And let's keep on empowering and spreading awareness. Thank you.
Thank you for the collaboration. Thank you, guys. You guys are doing an awesome job. Anyway, we can lend our voice out there. You never know. It may look like you're doing something little. You look like, okay, my platform right now is just one small platform. But trust me, the words are seeds and it's going out there. Somebody is listening, somebody is hearing, and you're changing lives. So thank you for this great vision. Thank you for having me on here. Thanks for the invite, Fatima and Aliu. Good job, guys. I am elated.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.